And APB, American Protection Bureau, voted #1 best on Long Island for all your security needs. Call 631-390-9050. That's 631-390-9050. APB.
Guys, I had a picture of me and Nash as Vinny Vegas, Diamond Dallas Page, and Scotty Bingo Flamingo, Scotty Raven. And that was, but me and Nash used to drive Jake to the shows because remember when he was in WCW for like 3 months?
Right. When he came with that leather jacket, right? He came in out of nowhere.
Right.
Right?
And he came down to the power plant. And if I wasn't on the road, I was in the power plant. That's the predecessor to what is today the Performance Center down there in Florida. And I hear Page. And back then, everybody knew me as Page J. Because my dad was Page 1, and I ain't being Page 2 to anybody. And my dad would be around the club because he liked the cocktail and liked the ladies and blah, blah, blah. But I hear Page. And I turn around, I see Jake. I go, Jake. He's like, fuck, man. He goes, I thought that was you, but I had no idea. Like, he had no idea. I never talked about working. He came into my club 2 or 3 times. And then we ended up, me and Kev were tagging together at that time. And, we'd drive. We'd get the car. Jake would sit in the back, drink beer. And so when I hurt my shoulder, Jake had called me to see how I was doing. And he told me him and Cheryl had broken up and he was living in a hotel. And like where most people, you're living in a hotel, like, oh man, that's rough. But we lived in hotels, like 25 nights a month. We're living in a fucking hotel, right? So, but I was still only in the business for like 2 years at that point. So I didn't really feel that like you would if you were Jay, because like, I'm at the Marriott, I'm good. Right. And I went to go see him. And before I left, I asked Kimberly if he would mind if Jake stayed downstairs, in our bedroom. We got downstairs and, until he finds a place to live. And I said, honey, he could really help me, and I really believe I can help him. And I could see where Jake was at that point. And I didn't know how bad, but I knew I could help him. And because I've been this motherfucker my whole life. Like the guy who's helping different people my whole life. And so Jake moved in. He didn't leave for 3 months. And the only reason he finally left was because he lost a 12-foot black cobra in my fucking house. And Kimberly's like, he has got to go, But one of the things that Jake said that was so real and so powerful, I said, man, as soon as I get this sling off my shoulder and shit, man, and I get to feeling right, man, I go, I can't wait to get in the ring with you. And he said, listen, you already know how to do all the moves. I've got 5 moves. You got like 105. And you do them well. You execute them well. You just don't know when to do them or why to do them. And he goes, you're going to learn more sitting on the couch with me, watching those matches that you tape. And I taped, Abe, every fucking single match. And I'm so bummed, not bummed, but oh man, God, if I had that, I had Austin doing color. I had Raven and Nash, Regal. I had some of the, and they would bust my balls so bad, on the tape behind me, because they would do color for, we used to have such a good time. We're doing 3 in a room. Someone's got the cot, which is normally me, and we'd be drinking beers and watching the matches back from that night. And that was a huge learning curve. But to be able to take those, when Jake was gone and he got back with Cheryl, which unbelievable, he's back with Cheryl again. and they are so in love because Jake is finally the guy that Cheryl dreamed he could be. And he's been sober for over 10 years now, bro. So, like, Jake, this Jake I've gotten to know over the last 8 years has been pretty amazing, and a brother for life. But he would have he'd be back with Cheryl, and I would drive out to Lawrence, Georgia, and play my matches for him. And some of it was decent, and most of it was like, what the fuck was that? Like, why would you do that? And he'd make me figure it out. Then the day I took a diamond cutter on an enhancement guy out of nowhere, he smiled, took a big took him a cigarette, and went, now you're getting it. And that was the beginning of where I was going to be. And having him and Dusty in my ear at different points was so pivotal. And especially Dusty when it came to vision, like visionary shit.
Right.
And, you know, and seeing it. I always say, people who say, I'll believe it when I see it. Those fuckers never see shit. But the people who say, I believe it because I see it, those are the game changers. And I saw it. And like one time with Dusty, I was just venting my fucking ass off. I was just like so over the booking committee and not seeing what I was doing. This is like November 1994. And I'm really getting like, not good, but I'm getting pretty good. You know, like I deserve more than the bottom fucking curtain jerking spot. The second I would have been happy with, but I'm shooting for that Rick Rude, that Jake Roberts spot. Because whenever those guys went out there, you did not know who the fuck was going over. And I don't mean them together. I'm talking about whoever they got in the ring with, Rick or Jake. You had no fucking idea who was going over. And that's what I wanted, that element of doubt. And I said to Dusty, one of my favorite stories, I said, you know, Dream, I know I'm never going to be you or Rick or Hulk. I know I'm never going to be the world champion. But the fucking bookers, he went, Dennis, enough. What did you just say? And now I feel kind of stupid, right? I'm like, well, come on, Dusty. I know I'm never going to be you or Rick. And he goes, no, D, what did you say after that? I said, well, I know I'm never going to be the world champion. He said, what the fuck you doing it for? Dallas, if you don't think that you deserve to be a shot in the future of being the world champion, then you need to get the fuck out of our business right now. And I literally felt his hand come through the phone and just bitch slap me. And he kept at me. But I can't tell you a thing he said after that. But I can tell you exactly what the fuck I did. I wrote down, I will be the world champion 5 years or less. And it was 4 years, 4 months, and 14 days. And the craziest part is, I tell this story when people get cameos from me because they're looking for motivation and belief in themselves. And that night was maybe the second four-way dance that I'd ever seen in WCW. And I get in the ring with Rick and Hulk and Sting. Like, what are the fucking odds of 4 years, 4 months, and 14 days earlier, me saying, I'm never going to be Rick or you or Hulk? But yet I get in the ring with Rick and Hulk and the franchise Sting and the most decorated cat of our time. We were talking about him earlier, the one and only Nature Boy Ric Flair. Doesn't give me a screw job finish. He takes a diamond cutter in the middle.